Quick workshop walk around video today. Short day, mostly taken up with moving stuff around. So let's have a quick chat about plans. First, this motor, the broken motor. Thank you so much for all the feedback, suggestions, tips and encouragement as well. Very, very welcome in the comments and over on the Open Inverter forum. Short version, I've not done anything with this since you last saw it, other than just vaguely stick the lid back on. I am going to swap the bearing out. I'm going to test, as suggested, for any shorts between the case and the windings. If those come out clean, then that should be good. And per Paul's suggestion, thank you Paul, or information really, the front bearing floats, so isn't so susceptible to the axial load. Also thank you Paul for giving me the right terms. So it's only this one that should be shot, in which case if we can pull this bearing off or have this bearing pulled off, we'll have a go with the puller, and if not, get somebody else to do it. Swap that bearing out, this motor should be good to go again. I'm not going to put this one straight back in the car. I'll test my theory about axial load by getting this together, putting the stack together and seeing if there's any gap, any pressure here. I can't remember who, but suggested putting some blue tack on the end here and see if it gets squished. I think that's a very good idea. I shall do that in a future episode. But either way, I'm going to get a second motor, in part because I've got this, which is the Outlander rear inverter. I've also got a control board for it now, courtesy of Bez. Thank you, Bez, who drives the Outlander powered Mini. Super cool, built his own board to drive it, and is just very, very cool. And he sent me a board to power that, which is fantastic. So might as well have a second drivetrain to play with, for the sake of 250 quid, something like that, to get a second motor. Thankfully the real business that pays for all this is going well at the moment, so I can stump up for that. In the meantime, those of you who keep saying put an L210 in it, there is the inverter for the L210. There is the L210. That is the drivetrain that's going in this ultimately. Why am I not just ditching the Outlander motor and putting the L210 straight in? Partly it's a question of sunk cost. Like, I've invested a lot of time in, first of all, building it with the Outlander front motor, second of all, building it with the Outlander rear motor and the Prius Gen 3 inverter. I've got that working. I've got it working well. If it wasn't for my mechanical screw up putting too much axial load on the motor, I'd still be driving that now and increasingly happy with the performance. I don't see the need to throw all that work away and stick an L210 in it. It's got plenty of power. It's great. It's, yes, I'm looking forward to playing with the L210. Yes, I'm looking forward to putting that in there, but no need to scrap the work I've done. It works, barring my slight screw up on the axial load. So not going to be binning off that work. I'm going to be playing with the L210 soon. Plan for this is to build a bit of a test bench. I'm going to try and get it off the floor. I've got some wooden legs left over from my workbench from home, some very, very sturdy wooden legs. So I'm going to get this up to a sensible working height, get the inverter plugged into it, get the Zombieverter board, which has now arrived, hooked up. It needs soldering first, and if you've seen my earlier videos, you'll know that my soldering sucks. So I will probably hand that on to somebody else to get that done professionally. And there's a guy around the corner from me who does a wonderful job and did my Prius boards, etc. After I screwed them up. So we'll get the Zombieverter up and running in a none too far in the future episode and build a whole little test bench, including, if you've seen Damien's latest video on the L210, this is my old heater element from a washing machine that I've used for the last 2 years as my current limiting element, not current interrupting element, current limiting element when testing. Can't remember the specs on it. It's always worked fine so far. One of the things I plan to do with the L210 and with the whole of this project actually is do things in a much more CAD fashion, and as part of that I'm going to be 3D scanning the inverter and the L210 gearbox. I think other people may already have 3D scanned them actually, but I've got a scanner now. I've got myself a little turntable, actually a Lazy Susan from it's IKEA, and my wife picked up at IKEA, nice and cheap. So I'm going to be scanning some parts in before designing around those and trying to do things in a very CAD-y fashion before putting them in. Over here, the current swapped car is up on jack stands, as you can see. Took some time to get all these cars swapped over, but done now. That's up on jack stands, ready for a few things. Obviously, the motor to go back in, the interior swap, the body work, the body swap, and actually some remedial work on rust and things. I'd treated in all this before, but clearly didn't do a good enough job. So just going back, cleaning up any rust and making sure that's all nice before the new body goes on. With regards to the new body, anybody reads Complete Kit Car magazine will have seen in this month's issue my first running report on building the Tribute Automotive body. So I'm going to be writing some more episodes of that. I've got a few written already, but want to get on with the actual bodywork so that I can start writing about that process. So very, very keen to get started on this now. And there should be some episodes in the near future on things like fitting the headlight buckets, cutting out this space, or at least doing something with this space here. Exactly what to be confirmed. Daughter is very keen that we have some flashing lights in there to show state of charge. Not when it's driving, obviously, but when it's on charge. Need to put the grille in, need to do something about windscreen washer jets, etc., and get that transferred over to the other car. Need to swap the doors from here over to there because those doors are knackered. That's going to be a job in itself. And obviously that interior needs to clean up. So pointing at the seats over there, these seats need a bit of repair work before they go in. Also need to do a load of eBaying. Just all these parts up here now can all go. So anybody got a Z3 in Boston Green up there, wants some bits, give me a shout. Lots of that is for sale, albeit, as I say, keeping the interior because we're going to put most of that in here. Few minor workshop upgrades as well. Got some shelves up for cans and things. Shelves that came out of my daughter's bedroom since that's being redecorated at the moment. Figured I'd put them to good use. Started to get some pictures up. I'd really like some, you know, workshop banners and car memorabilia and stuff in here. Just don't have any at the moment really, or at least nothing that's obvious to go in here. So I'll slowly add that sort of things in. Finally, just a few bits on this car. Needs a few things. Something happened to it when it was in the garage just before I bought it, so I'm going to clean that up and just touch those bits in. It needs a really good clean, obviously. Needs a really good clean. Don't know what that is. Back window needs replacing. It's one of the zip out ones. What I'm hoping is that the window from here will be a straight swap, but this is a notoriously fiddly job. So yeah, need to get a zip to start with in order to unzip that one and zip this one in. I think they're the same size, not measured up yet, but we shall see. But it'll do for now. It's booked in for its MOT in the morning, and then it's booked in a couple of weeks for some underbody treatment to make sure I don't have to do to this one what I've had to do to that one, and what's causing me to scrap this one doesn't happen. I'm going to make sure it's fully protected, so it's going in for professional dinitrile treatment underneath, full plastics off, clean, remediation, cavity wax, underbody sealant, the works. So it should be bulletproof from a rust perspective, at least to get it through a British winter. Finally then, I'll also be giving this interior a really good clean and a bit of a touch up. Obviously that door card needs sorting, the speaker grills need swapping over. I'll probably take the ones off one of those two and give those a good clean and a coat of paint and swap those in. Don't know how difficult that is yet, but needs doing. And yeah, it'd be nice to get a stereo that works a bit more reliably. It's nice having the original BMW stereo. It's kind of funky having tapes. Maybe I'll stick with that for a little while, but you do sometimes have to shove the front of the stereo in order for the buttons to work. So yeah, a little bit of tidying up to do here, and a really good clean. I'm also quite tempted to get these very nice alloys refurbished. They're a bit scuffed here and there, but they're quite a decent set of alloys, and so getting those refurbished would leave it looking nice. And you never know, I may keep those alloys when we do the body swap on this one as well, because they are kind of sweet. So that's it, very short episode today. Not an awful lot of time in here, mostly just doing boring stuff like moving things around and putting shelves up. Boring but necessary. So yeah, lots coming up. That's it really. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Bye bye.